What kind of fees are on a credit card, on a merchant statement that a business gets? What kind of fees are on there that maybe don't have to be there, that a lot of companies are putting on there just to increase their profits?
That's a great question. You know, a lot of business owners, they don't take the time to look at a statement and really read it or understand it. There's so many. Have you ever looked at a processing statement and seen all the numbers that are on there? Yeah, it's extremely confusing. And usually the last page of that statement in the bottom section is other fees. You know, when you get in there, there's Paper of the Month Club, there's some, you know, all sorts of fees. They're labeled everything and anything you could possibly imagine. But you find them, you know, $10, $29, $39, $49. A lot of that stuff has to do with some type of a merchant club or some benefit program it's labeled as. There's a lot of other things in there that, you know, once you sit down with a business owner and you look at it, you ask them, hey, what's this club fee that you're paying $29 a month on? And they're thinking, well, heck, I don't know. How about this Paper of the Month Club that you're on? You know, is that, you know, or a special support package or VIP package, whatever it's labeled, and it's labeled all sorts of different creative names, you know, to kind of throw them off. Those fees all don't need to be there. And lots of times you look on that other fee section, you'll be surprised what that adds up to. I mean, I've seen it add up to $75 to $100 sometimes, and that's just garbage that's being tacked on top of the processing costs.
Yeah. And they're telling the business that they're getting a 2% or 1.5% rate or something like that, and then when we analyze it and actually figure it up, it's 3-4% something like that. When they put all the fees on there, they just backload it.
You know, the worst thing about the fees, and I think probably the biggest change that's happened in businesses being able to see what they're being charged, is when COVID came in. You know, COVID hit and it was, don't touch anything, right? Don't touch the paper. Don't touch this, could have COVID on it. Don't mail anything anymore. So a lot of big processing companies went to the portal. And now business owners, you know, before, I mean, how many times I've walked into a business and I, you know, get to the table and say, hey, let's look at a couple statements and see what you got. And they'll pull out, you know, they're dusting off a pile of envelopes that they never even opened. So they hadn't even looked at them in the first place. Well, now they've got to go to a portal and they've got to log into that portal. And they've got to remember a username and password, and then they got to get in there and figure out, how do I find this statement? And there it is, and look at it. So there's a lot more steps involved in trying to get to the data that should be right there at their fingertips and easy to see and easy to read. On top of that, the fact that so many of these business owners don't log into the portal, and I mean, there's been research and there's statistics to show the percentage of them that do not take the time to go in and check out what their statement is and those fees are in that portal. There's been junk fees that get tacked on in there because, you know, you're a business owner, your processing fees are a variable number every single month. If there's an extra $30 on, you know, your bill and you're paying $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month, and you get an extra $30 on there, you're not going to notice it. You know, you might have been $5,030 this month. You might be, you know, $4,090 last month, $5,020 next month. I mean, that little variation in that bill, unless you're logging in and you're actually looking at your statement, you may not be seeing that extra $30 that's getting charged to you or whatever that fee is.
Yeah, and it adds up over time.
Adds up, makes the processors really, really, really rich.
What do you think, like, what's something a business owner can do to see if they're getting charged those fees, or